Hello. Hi, hi, hi. La 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 la. Okay, I couldn't fix my camera. I couldn't fix my camera, and I don't like the way it looks. I look weird. I look like some weird colors. Like this is more red than usual. I don't know if that's okay. Uh, let's see how many people connect to the first class. The idea of these classes is to present the topic only in English. Ideally, we're going to explain only topics that are B1 plus, or little differences between grammar structures, or some other items, sometimes vocabulary, if necessary, and also bring up some functions. So, for instance, we may have one day to talk about useful phrases and expressions for a job interview, all depending on the topic, because it has to go in a progressive way. What do I mean by this? We cannot jump topics like crazy. It has to follow a logical order. And the first one today, it's actually kind of simple. Well, it says here present continuous versus present simple, or vice versa. And it's actually to talk about permanent situations and temporary situations, and certain details that we have to pay attention when we use each of these structures. But I like to know if you're here. So I don't know, say hi in the chat or something. I'm kind of shy. So if you're here, say something. I see that we have 4 people, 3. That's usual. So hello, I cannot see you yet. I cannot see the people who see it. Hi, Angelica. Nice to see you. That's great, Angelica. Welcome. And Herman, nice to see you, man. Love to see you here, buddy. Peru. One day I hope I can visit Peru, but not too Machu Picchu. That's like what everybody does. I'm gonna open my board here. That's gonna be my board for a while. Mm. Okay, pips, ready? So, um, present simple. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Hi, nice to see you too. Welcome to the class. Love to see you here. Okay, well, little long story short, we have the present simple, which is kind of the run of the mill topic in English. Yeah, when we say present simple, we have the do and the does thing. We have something that is called action verbs and stated verbs. And I want to start with that. Do you know what are state verbs and action verbs? I'm reading you right now in the comments if you know what's this about. Oops, where's my mouse? Okay, here it is. Okay, so if in the chat, can you tell me if you know the difference between state verbs and action verbs, if you have seen that? What do you think it is? Actions that you don't need to move your body. Close, yes, close, Herman. It's really close. Those are the verbs that we usually have with things that are thought processes and emotions, generally. Yeah. We have verbs there like, well, duh, like. I need a different color. I'm going to pick blue again. So for stated verbs, we have like, understand, love, those kind of things. Okay. Usually, the funny part is These ones are kind of restrictive because we should use them only with the present simple. What am I going to say with this? I'm going to go there in a moment. But action verbs are the ones that require us some movement. So we're going to have here any the rest: uh, play, run, go, and so on. Why is this important? Because the main mistake, or one of the mistakes that people have when they try to use the present simple and the present continuous, is that they are using the present continuous with state verbs, and that is something that shouldn't happen. What I'm going to write, it's a mistake. That actually sounds super weird. I'm loving you sounds weird. We shouldn't say that. Okay, like it's gonna sound really harsh, but either I love you or I don't love you. That's it. I'm loving you sounds weird. Another expression that happens a lot, well, at least with the students that I work with, people have the tendency to say, "Yes, teacher, I'm understanding." Okay, this is not an action. This is not an action verb. This is a state verb. So if you want to say that all the ideas are clear, say I understand. Don't say this. That's a mistake. And that's a typical one that we have. We start making combinations of the present continuous and the present simple. And that is something that we have to avoid. Okay? Now, with that out of us, I do recommend you, please, check the state verbs. Check state verbs. So you can start avoiding that in present continuous. I say present continuous. Obviously, you're going to see the word loving with ing somewhere, but maybe it's not used in a continuous tense. Okay. Well, tell me if you have any questions. It's okay. I'm here looking at the chat. And if you're looking this like in another time, well, leave the questions in the comments. I'm going to answer them anyway. Okay. So, any questions so far? Believe me, I'm going to take that as a no. Hmm. Actually, you know what? Hi, OC. Glad to see you here. Maybe you want to take a screenshot. Like, if you want to study grammar, um, check something really quick. The best option is to go to Google Images. This one is I just picked out this one from Google, from Pinterest. Yeah, and it says it right here. It says we don't use this usually in continuous tenses. If you have ever said things like "I am liking this," "I disliking," uh, "hating," that sounds weird. Uh, this one is possible. This one is possible sometimes. I have heard that from some people. Uh, feel is possible. See, it's more or less possible in daily use. I am smelling sounds way too weird. I'm smelling sounds like you need perfume. So definitely not. Like I smell something. Look, it's possible. Have, oh my god, have. Like have of an object, like you own the object, it's not so common. But when you say almorzar or cenar, having lunch or having dinner, in that case you can say it with ing. Anyway, so I do recommend you to look this kind of information. If you don't take a screenshot, It's gonna be in the video later, or I can post the link of this in the description when I finish the transmission. Anyway, uh, back to you, Tom. How do you delete this? I need to eliminate this. Sorry. Customize. No, I just need to put it away. Bye. Okay. Permanent. Permanent things and temporary. This is the first difference of the second uses of the present simple and the present continuous. And the example is actually going to be really simple. I live in Bogota. I'm not planning to move. This is my house. Basically, I'm staying here. I'm living with a friend. Now, that's a big difference. And we are using, in this case, the present continuous. Why? Not because it's an action happening precisely in this moment in front of us, but we're using this because it's a temporary action. Okay? I want to see this in the comments. What things in your life right now are permanent? Yeah, like connected to this word. Let's try with these words: work, study. Like, for example, right now, I'm studying how to draw. I suck at drawing. It's just a hobby, but I'm studying and I'm not going to do it forever. Herman, is it correct to say I'm looking for a job or I'm looking for answers for my life? Well, the for my life part sounds not so normal, but I'm looking for a job is perfectly fine. It's a temporary action. Yeah. Or it's a current process. Could be both. But in that case, that's why I put an asterisk next to look. That one is possible. I'm looking for answers in my life. I think it's better to say in my life in that case. Don't forget to always capitalize the I. But yeah, looking for, it's possible. Like that rule of not using them with ing is more for words like love, like, hate. But for look, you can do it. And does anyone have any examples for this? Like, what things in your life are permanent and what things in your life are temporary? No problem, Herman. You're welcome. That's okay. The typical one that I hear from some people who are close to me, they usually tell me, I'm working for a call center. And they make emphasis on this because they know it's temporary. They don't want to do that forever, which is okay. Yep. Any questions so far? Because that's the first difference. So, in a moment, ideally, the idea is that we go to the classroom, to the same classroom as we go to the speaking club. And the way to practice this is with typical information questions of where you live, what kind of things you like doing, what other hobbies or activities you engage. Because now you have the choice to either say that something is permanent or that something is temporary. Okay? That's the first difference. Confused. Catherine. Hello. Hi, Catherine. I'm confused about the use of work and job in this case. Okay. Okay, well, there are two different words. Finish with this question so we can continue with the next part. When we are using them as an object, as an idea, my work or my job, that's okay. Yeah. My job is really interesting. Or you can say, I love my job, because job is an object, is the noun. Work can be a noun, but work can also be an action. Yeah. So you can say something like, I work from 5 to 9. Yep. That's a weird schedule, but you can imagine. So the difference is that we usually use job always as a noun, and work, we use it all the time, well, most of the times, as an action, as a verb, and sometimes as a noun. Okay, so basically they can be synonyms if we are talking about the object, about job as noun, or work is the only verb. That's the difference. This one is never a verb. Okay, Catherine, thank you for your question. Okay, moving for the next one. I don't know if you know this, but can you guys, or can anyone, can you express the future using the present? Is there any situation where we can do this? I'm reading you. Is it possible? Can we use the present to express the future? Yeah, I'm really, 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 really. It's not that difficult, actually. I'm waiting for your answers in the comments. Okay, Germán says that it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yes, I know. But do you have an example when we have it? Um, I'm getting confused. I get confused. In that case, you say, I get confused. That's a good example. In that moment, get is a state verb, just in case. I get confused. And yeah, it happens a lot. It happens. It's possible to get confused with this. Okay, so for the present simple, good one, Herman. The present simple expresses the future when it's scheduled. Well, American pronunciation, scheduled. There are some people who said scheduled somehow. That was weird. So yeah, we have an appointment next Thursday. Oh, this looks horrible. Sorry. At 10 a.m. Yep. In that case, we are using the present simple because it's scheduled. Now, this is not going to be bad. Like the example Herman shows us is the train comes at 9. So there is already a timetable, and maybe it's 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 5 to 9. And you know that in the future, it's a fact that the train gets there at that time. So it's a way to use the present simple for the future. However, this only happens in this situation when it's scheduled. Okay. So think about um, a formal meeting. Yep. A job interview, a class, something like that can be used like this. Yeah, no, we have class tomorrow. That's great. That's the future. What kind of future we can talk about with the present continuous? Let me put it here like we're having dinner with my parents. We're having dinner with my parents. What's the difference between this and this? What do you think? I'm reading you. Maybe some of you know the answer, or maybe somebody's Googling it. Okay, difference number one. Yeah, this one uses ing. But what is the difference between the use? You already know that this one is scheduled. Okay. The second one is not scheduled. We don't have a time, maybe. Yes, it's close. What else? ing. But yeah. But what happens here? This is the bad thing about explaining certain things about grammar without a context. Let me tell you this. Uh, I'm talking to my girlfriend. In this situation, I am talking to my girlfriend. Obviously, my girlfriend is not a train. Herman, you got it. Yes, very good. It's an arrangement, it's a plan, and it's a really close plan. You're gonna do it maybe in a couple of days. We're having a party. We're going to your sister's home. Those kind of situations that are an arrangement with someone, but it's not in a timetable. We use the present continuous to express future in those cases. Yeah. So we have those kind of limitations in that case. How strict people do this in real life? It just comes out of the blue. Yeah. Usually the typical one is like, we're having a party next weekend. That's like the typical example you're gonna hear if you are with someone at college or the university. That's what you're gonna hear. So people are trying to organize a plan to have some fun, to visit someone, and they're gonna express it just like this. And again, it's not your typical uh, present simple, present continuous use. I know it may be counterintuitive at the beginning, but believe me, it's you're gonna get the hang of it pretty soon. So let's backtrack a little. Okay. Mm, okay, that's a very good observation. We should use the time expressions. Usually should be day and well the hour for the present simple because we have it scheduled. That's why we're making a reference to the future because we have that scheduled. So having date and time is kind of vital for that to work. And in the other one, no, we are organizing a party for Carlos this Saturday. I mean, I'm gonna say Saturday anyway, but we are organizing is that we already arranging. We are making that. So we have to agree in several things. Yes, Jose, I agree. The first time you see this, it's like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Um, the way that I explain this to people is okay, plans with friends, we are having a huge party after this. Future plans with your friends, I mean, during the same week, hopefully, do it like this. If you gotta go to the doctor, you have a class, you have a meeting, use the present simple. I have a job interview next. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna. No, no, I hate Mondays. I'm never going to say Monday. I'm gonna say Wednesday. Sorry, guys. I got a very nasty trauma with the word Monday. Okay, so maybe my explanation at the beginning was not that clear, but if you're gonna talk about plans with your friends and family, and they are really close plans, so this is the way to go. If you're going to talk about job interviews, meetings, things that are more formal and scheduled, go with this. I don't know if that helped you a little bit. I hope it does. But originally I didn't like break it like this so I could do this, but I should have done this from the beginning. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Anyway, is it okay if I erase? Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. Great. So again, we start listing everything that we do with this. So typical thing about oh no, that color simply doesn't work. Okay, so the typical one is facts and routines. I didn't explain this, and I'm going to maybe sound like a jerk because you get this clear from the basic level. So that's why I didn't go into depth with that part. And in here is things happening right now. Yep, that's a typical use that you check when you are in the A1, A2 levels. When you are finishing a A2, this is the part where you start checking what I'm talking about. Yep. So, first difference is remember permanent things in your life. Permanent. Uh, who can give me an example quickly about a permanent situation? Quickly. So, don't forget to tell me if it is an example of permanent because if you don't have it, maybe you can give me an example of a temporary situation in your life. So, hopefully, you're going to do it now. I'm waiting for your examples. Permanent versus temporary. Mm, Jose, but that's not a sentence. I wake up every day. That's routine. So, no, you're thinking about this. Actually, the easiest example is live, but what things are permanent in your life? Okay, the next one. I always do laundry. Give us more information. When or how or with what product? I have a sister. Yes, that's permanent. I don't want to sound cruel, but yeah, I have a sister. It's a permanent situation. Hopefully. That sounds too cruel from my part. Sorry. Having a relative is usually a permanent situation. Living in a place is usually a permanent situation. Work, as long as it is not in your plans to change your job, it's a permanent situation. Now, what kind of temporary situations you have in your lives right now? I am waiting. That's a permanent situation, Jose. Yes, that's permanent and a fact. Well, that's let's not go into that issue because that has different shades, but it's a very interesting topic. She is sweeping the floor now, and the problem here is you're thinking about this. I need you to think about this. Things that are temporary in your life. Some people say like I'm living alone. I'm living alone. That means that I know that someday I'm going to live with someone. This is temporary. Or when people change cities, maybe it happens a lot. Uh, when people go to study to other city and they say, no, I am living in Bogota because I'm studying. When they finish their studies, they're going to go back to their city or town. Well, in this case, I'm studying at the university is a better example because you know, and we hopefully do, you're gonna finish that. So studying the university is not forever. Um, Elsie, when you say I go for a walk, that example is more connected again to this, to routines. Yep. I'm learning English. Is that temporary or forever? That's weird. Because in this moment you're learning English, but believe me, when I learn English, supposedly I'm C2 and I keep learning every day. So yeah, I'll say that one is not temporary either. That one is more like in this moment. Again, think about things like work, live, work, practicing, or well, you can do it with an S if you're learning British English. Usually, it's more with these verbs. Okay, first difference for advanced students, and that's why I give you this other one that is scheduled, future, and arranged, future. That one, that's the one that I just explained. Mm, I'm wearing a jacket. In this moment, again, that one sounds more like here. I'm wearing a jacket. Yum, 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 yum. Could be. But I think that's more of a situation in this moment than temporary. Again, temporary things are usually with those kind of verbs like live, work, stay. I'm staying with my parents, for example. That one is temporary. I'm staying with my parents. You may tell that to a friend or somebody else, or maybe your sister has to stay with you. So, no, my sister is staying with us for a while. And you make emphasis in the expression for a while because you want to mention that it's temporary. Backtracking again. Yeah. Arranged future or informal with your friends. Schedule future if you have a timetable behind it. Okay, and another big difference that we have between these two. Yes, Herman. Usually, that's a perspective that I appreciate. Yeah, it's difficult to give us examples because we never know what's going to happen, especially in our countries. But usually, there are things that we don't hope to change very soon. That's why we call them permanent. Like right now, I know that I live in Bogota, but maybe in 6 months something happens and I have to move to Chia. Chia is a small town north of Bogota, and could be. But in general, when we don't expect something to happen or to change very soon, we're gonna use the present simple. When we know that something is temporary, we're gonna make more emphasis. Um, what? I'm waiting my reward. Okay, I'm waiting my reward. Yes, that's gonna be temporary because one day you're gonna wait. You're gonna give it. You're gonna receive it. Sorry if I give you my answers late. No, it's okay. Maybe you're checking this like some minutes behind, so that's okay, not a problem. I am in a meeting until 10 p.m. That sucks. I hope that's not true. That example is not temporary because you have only one verb that is the verb to be. I'm. So that's a situation right now, but only with to be. So I'm in a meeting. Who has meetings until 10 p.m.? Poor people. Okay. Um, the final part to take into account here, it's frequency adverbs are more obviously frequent here. Yep. Frequency adverbs are more common here. And remember, it's not like you cannot use them here, but we usually say things like always, never, usually, seldom is another one that I rarely use. Rarely. Sometimes that's the favorite of some people. And every time we use this, we're talking either about a routine, that's a typical use, or a custom. Yes, Jose, you're right. Often. That's another one that I missed. That one is like the most used of all. Okay. With continuous, the most common expressions that we have for time are, well, the one that many of you have already used. Right now, in this moment. Yep. That's the second difference. So, right now, what are we going to do? If you have any further questions about this, we can see each other in the club. The idea is that you practice this question. Like, really, the topic has no science. It's like your average everyday conversation about personal data, personal information questions. Where do you live? So now you have two options to answer this. Where do you live? I live in Caracas. If we have anyone from Venezuela, just in case. I live in Caracas. Oh, yeah, Jose, I forgot that one. Currently. Yeah, currently for the present continuous. I live in Caracas means that is. You tell me. I'm not going to tell you. I'm living in Lima. Maybe one day. Okay. Can someone please explain what's the difference between these two? Which one? Which one is the temporary situation? What do you think? Very good. Yeah, I'm living in Lima is the one that is temporary. So now you have two options: temporary and permanent. Okay, very important. Maybe some of you have been in different courses and you have the habit of answering like this. That's okay. Now you have two options. You have unlocked, and that's correct, Jose. Yeah, exactly. Like the first one is permanent, and the second one is temporary. And the critical part here is not to make strange combinations. Yeah. If you say something like "I'm live," oh, that's not okay. Or "I living," that makes no sense. So the only thing you have to pay attention to right now is never make any kind of weird combinations between these two. I mean, it's ungrammatical and it doesn't sound really normal. Okay, that example is way better. I'm living in an apartment, but I want to buy a big house. Yeah. So you're not gonna be in the apartment forever. Mm, typical question. What are you going to do next Saturday? I need more space with this. Sorry. So again, typical. Nothing special. I have a meeting at 10. Or we're celebrating Mike's birthday. Oops. Okay. What can we suppose with all the information that you know now? What's the difference? Oh, you cannot see because of the banner? I don't know what happened with the banner. Oh, there we go. What is the difference between the two different people who answered that question? Hmm? I'm not gonna tell you. You're gonna tell me. Difference, difference, difference. What's the difference? Person A and person B. That's correct. In the first one, we're using the present simple, but why? Why are we using the present simple? In the second one, we're using the present continuous. Yes, that's correct, but why? And the first one is scheduled. Yes, it's a boring meeting on paper. And the second one is a plan with friends. If you put it like that, yes, yes, it is. And it works. Because to celebrate a party with someone, you need to arrange several things. Who brings the soda? Who's gonna buy the cake? What house we're gonna mess around? Who's gonna clean afterwards? There are many things that we have for this. And okay, that's a difference. There might be other differences, but they're not important right now. Okay, yep. First is in gerund? No. Gerund in the first one? Oh, you maybe refer to meaning. I may have to explain that later. The ing, the ing here is not an ing. This is one single word. This is that it comes from the verb meet, but this is not an action. Just in case. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, Jose. Yeah, Jose, you got it clear. Yep. Also, great. So now that you know, use it. Because when we usually learn at the beginning, you have yes no questions like, hey, do you practice any sports? Yes, I do. No, I don't. And we learn with formulas because it's the easiest way to have like some kind of fluent conversation. From B1 onwards, they give us more options to answer. And we need to know what are the slight differences. And this one is like the easiest. There are some others that may require a little bit more time and practice, but right now, what I do recommend you to do is to go to the classroom and practice. Or if you are looking this sometime later, uh, well, make sure that you have someone to practice with. I think we're gonna need a bigger classroom one day, but for now, we are not so many. So if you have any further questions, I'm gonna go right now to the classroom if you need me. And if not, and you're gonna go and rest a little bit, then see you later. But before I go, do you have any questions about the things that I just explained before I erase everything? I wanted to have a presentation, but I thought it was going to be more natural to use the board. But I think I'm gonna have a slideshow the next time because this either I look at you or I look at this. So next time, yeah, I'm gonna go with a slideshow. Okay, Jose, everything's clear for you. Great. But just in any case, if you have any questions later and you can put them here in the comments, I'm okay with that. So I can help you out. Okay. So just in case, see you in the classroom. And if not, have a great week, learn a lot, and see you later. Bye bye.